Alright, welcome back to part 3, the final part in our Fusion How to Make a Circuit Board tutorial series. After this video, you're going to have to go check out our VCarve video on how to produce and use VCarve to create the toolpaths for cutting our circuit. But this is the last video to explain how to make a circuit board in Fusion. So let's jump right into this. Once your circuit board is completely routed, all of your connections are made, we want to go up here to this 3D PCB button. So when we were done our schematic, we pushed our 2D PCB layout button. It took us to this page. Now that we're done here, we're now going to press our 3D PCB button, which is going to create a 3D representation or 3D model of our circuit board. Okay, so on our board we have 4 resistors, a capacitor, a push button, an LED, and the positive and negative terminals that we can solder our battery connection to. But what we really need to focus on here is that all of our components are on one side of our circuit board, and all of our connections are on the other side. If you find all of your connections and all your components are on the same side, it means you made a mistake in the last video here, this step, and you're gonna have to go back to this step and make sure all of our connections, these, are all blue, routed on the bottom. So go back and watch video 2 if you have a mistake. But if we've all been paying attention to the videos and following them correctly, we should have all our paths on the bottom, and we are ready to move on to creating a drawing from our 3D model. So to create a drawing from our 3D model, we are going to go up to this Change Workspace button. So it currently says 3D PCB. We're going to click on it, and it's going to open this drop down where we are going to select Drawing from Design. We're going to click that, and if you haven't yet saved your work, it'll probably prompt you to pick a location to save this to. If that's the case, save your work, and then you're going to have to do this whole press the button drawing thing again. However, if it's already saved, you're going to get this pop-up window here, and we're just going to hit OK to create a drawing from our 3D model. Now this takes a moment to load, so just give it a second. But when it loads, you're going to have your drawing of your model attached to your mouse. You just need to find a place on the page and click. Then we're going to go over to our Drawing View tab, and we're going to pay attention to our Appearance section. So if we see this orientation, we need to set this to the orientation which shows us the bottom of the board. Now sometimes, for whatever reason, your board may get rotated in the 3D pane. So if bottom does not show you this view of your board, you might have to try either front or back, but whatever orientation you need to set it to, we need to be able to see our circuit board with all of our connections facing us, like this. The other thing we have to set is our scale. Our scale must be 1:1, or else the measurements we have inputted up until this point are not going to be accurate. So if you've set your orientation so that you can see all of our copper paths that we have routed, and your scale is at 1:1, we hit OK. And you might say, Mr. D, why did my copper paths just disappear? Well, just wait, I'm going to explain why. So here we have a few things we have to edit. For one, every line, when we export this into our VCarve software for creating toolpaths, every line on our page is going to be seen as a line that we need to cut in VCarve. So to avoid all of this stuff getting cut, you're going to delete your border and title block, leaving behind just our design. Once you've done that, we can zoom in here and get to work on editing which objects in our drawing we see. So to start, we can turn off packages. Packages are all of those pre-made 3D models of our components. We don't need to cut out what those look like on our board. We just need to cut out our copper paths, so we can turn off packages. The second things we can turn off right away are these solder masks. The machines we use in this shop are not capable of creating solder masks, nor do we use them. So we can just turn them off and we're done with it. Now, this next step you are going to have to play with a little bit. We're going to take our mouse and hover over copper 1 and 16 copper. You can see when I hover over 16 copper, it highlights everything on our board. That's because this 16 copper is the copper on the bottom side of my board. Generally, copper 1 is always going to be the copper on the top side of your board. So, when we're creating a copper path for the copper on the bottom of our board, we are going to uncheck copper 1 because that is the copper on the top side of your board. So we turn off 1 copper, we're going to hit this drop down to open up the 2 bodies that exist in 16 copper. And let's zoom in here. So if we see this terminal here, all this is going to do is add a line, which when we cut it out on the CNC is going to break our connections. So we need to turn this circle off. So once again, you're going to hover over both of our 2 options here. You can see this one is the body that contains all of these extra terminals. We're going to toggle that off. So at this point, you should have your board perimeter, so our square that is outlining the size of our board, and our copper paths, which are going to be a part of our copper terminals. So if all your paths look like this, so the last step, the very last step in Fusion is from this point, we are going to hit this export drop-down menu and select export DWG. Now, I generally pick the simplified DWG. I'm going to hit simplified and hit OK. It's going to ask us where we want to output our DWG. So we're going to give our file a name. I'm going to call this Mr. D Nightlight Circuit Board. I have the type as a DWG. And so I'm going to save to my computer because I'm opening up in another application. We're going to hit this little 3-dot menu here, this option. This is where we set the location that we want to save it to. Now, you may want to save it to somewhere in your OneDrive. So find the location you want to save it to. And we're going to hit save. This now sets the location that this file will be sent to. Then when I hit save here, and open up my files here, if I hit my OneDrive, I can now see my Mr. D Nightlight circuit board. So, from this point, the next step is in VCarve, a different program. So this concludes our Autodesk Fusion circuit board tutorial. To finish off our circuit board project, you're going to have to go watch the VCarve video, but I'm going to end this video here. So thank you for watching this 3-part tutorial series. Good luck on your work, and I'll see you later.